Light, available, predictable. But the truth is different, and it's brutal. Desire is not born from kindness. Desire is born from emotional power. While some men try to please, others dominate the game without asking permission. This video is not comfortable, it is not moral, it is not gentle. Here, you will understand why apparent cruelty attracts, why needy kindness repels, and how instinct ignores everything you were taught to believe.
Pause. Welcome to Mental Warfare, the channel where illusions are broken, psychology is dissected, and uncomfortable truths are brought into the light. Here, we analyze the hidden dynamics behind human behavior, power, desire, and the silent games people play. If you are looking for comfort, this may not be the channel for you. But if you want to understand how people really think, how influence works, and how psychology shapes the world around you, then you are in the right place. Before we begin, if you enjoy deep psychological content like this, take a second to subscribe and join the Mental Warfare community, because here, we don't follow popular narratives, we analyze them, and once you see the patterns, you can never unsee them. If this video made you think, or made you slightly uncomfortable, then it did its job, because real growth rarely feels comfortable.
The truth is harsher. This is not about good versus evil, it is about power, perception, instinct, emotional control. What attracts is not cruelty itself, it's what cruelty signals at deep psychological levels. The good guy who gives too much, who adapts himself, who anticipates needs, who sacrifices without being asked, sends a silent message: I need to be accepted. And neediness is psychological weakness. Public speeches about empathy, equality, and sensitivity don't change this. The female unconscious operates on a different frequency. It watches behavior, not intentions. It measures emotional stability, autonomy, the ability to set boundaries, and above all, the absence of fear of losing. The man perceived as cruel does not fear loss. He does not negotiate his value. He does not ask permission to exist. From the first interaction, attraction is a silent test, not conscious, instinctive. Small delays, mood shifts, subtle challenges, light provocations. The good man tries to fix, to please, to compensate. The cold man holds his frame. He does not emotionally react to every fluctuation. That difference creates a brutal power imbalance. Who reacts, loses. Who stays centered, controls the tempo. And desire grows where there is tension, not where there is predictability. There is a classic mistake few admit, confusing kindness with lack of strength. True kindness requires power. Apparent cruelty is often just strength without a mask. The problem is that most good men are not good by conscious choice. They are good out of fear. Fear of confrontation, fear of rejection, fear of being seen as inadequate. That fear leaks out in micro-behaviors, overly long messages, too many explanations, constant availability, inability to say no. The female unconscious detects this instantly, and once detected, it cannot be unseen. The man who seems cruel is usually the man who does not explain himself. He acts and accepts the consequences. He does not try to control the image people have of him. This creates a powerful psychological paradox. If he doesn't need approval, it means he has options. If he has options, his value is high. If his value is high, he is desirable. This is not a moral equation. It is a psychological status equation. Desire is not democratic. It does not reward effort. It responds to signals. Another point few dare to say: many women do not feel safe with excessively nice men. Not physical safety, primitive emotional safety. A man who bends too much appears unstable, easily influenced, unable to hold pressure. In moments of crisis, this type of man tends to collapse. The hard, controlled man who does not emotionally fall apart sends a different message. The world can collapse around him, and he will still be standing. That image activates deep layers of instinct related to protection and survival. There is also the factor of unpredictability. The human brain associates pleasure with variation. A man who is too predictable kills desire. The man who does not reveal everything, who does not fully give himself, who keeps parts of himself inaccessible, creates a void the mind tries to fill. And where there is a void, obsession is born. The good man gives everything. The cruel man gives fragments. The female mind works to conquer what is not fully available. This is not perversity, it is basic psychology. Here comes the most uncomfortable point. Many so-called good men use kindness as a bargaining chip. They are kind expecting a return. When they don't receive it, they feel betrayed. That silent expectation turns kindness into disguised manipulation. The unconscious reads this as false. The cold man promises nothing. He does not offer emotional security in advance. He creates no debt. Paradoxically, this makes him appear more honest to instinct. So cruelty is not what attracts. What attracts is the absence of emotional submission. The ability to hold your own center without asking for validation. The willingness to lose without collapsing. The man who accepts loss as part of the game stops being a hostage to the outcome. And whoever is not a hostage has power. Desire follows power the way a shadow follows a body. None of this is taught openly. In fact, it is constantly denied. Men are taught that being nice, understanding, and patient is enough. When it fails, they say the woman is broken or likes suffering. These explanations are moral shortcuts to avoid facing reality. Attraction does not obey ideals. It responds to primitive signals of psychological strength, autonomy, and emotional dominance. And as long as this truth remains hidden, men will keep trying to buy desire with kindness, and women will keep being drawn to what does not ask permission to exist. The game is not fair, it is not beautiful, and it is not gentle. Let's be brutally honest. There is a point almost never said out loud. Attraction is not born from conscious intention. It is born from the unconscious reading of emotional hierarchies. Before any rational thought appears, the mind evaluates who leads the rhythm, who reacts, who explains themselves, who simply acts. The man who reacts too much, who tries to align every move with a woman's mood, communicates psychological subordination. And subordination does not create desire. It creates lukewarm comfort, friendship, predictability. Desire requires friction. It requires risk. It requires the feeling that the other person cannot be fully controlled. Unconscious tests are not moral traps. They are filtering mechanisms. They appear as delays. Sudden tone changes, silence. Light criticisms disguised as jokes. The goal is not to humiliate, the goal is to observe. And what is observed is not the verbal answer, but inner stability. The good man tries to fix the moment. He apologizes even when he did nothing wrong. He rationalizes. He justifies. Every justification lowers his position. The man who seems cruel, on the other hand, does not enter the game. He does not defend himself against vague accusations. He does not chase approval. He remains whole. This creates an asymmetry the unconscious reads as strength. There is a crucial difference between coldness and indifference. Coldness is control. Indifference is lack of investment. The desired man is not indifferent. He chooses when to invest. That conscious choice creates value. The man who invests all the time, without criteria, makes his investment cheap. What is cheap is not desired, not out of malice, but because of psychic economy. The mind seeks what requires proportional effort. Another ignored element is selective emotional disregard. Not disrespect, not cruelty. Simply not giving excessive importance to everything. The man who is shaken by every fluctuation shows that his balance depends on the other person. That creates one-sided power. Whoever controls the other's emotional state controls the relationship. The cold man keeps his axis even when the relationship oscillates. This does not mean lack of feelings. It means sovereignty over them. There is also the role of internal narrative. Many women grew up hearing they should desire good men, but in practice, they experience that these men, when frustrated, become resentful, demanding, passive-aggressive. The unconscious learns fast. It associates excessive kindness with future emotional debt. The hard man, who does not promise infinite emotional protection, does not create this invisible debt. He does not demand return for what he never offered. Paradoxically, this creates more trust. Perceived cruelty works as a filter. It eliminates those who depend too much on external approval. The man who can tolerate being misunderstood demonstrates something rare. He trusts himself more than he trusts public opinion. This silent self-trust is magnetic because it signals autonomy. Autonomy is the foundation of respect, and without respect, there is no sustainable desire. Only temporary fantasy. There is also the factor of boundaries. The good man often fails to set clear boundaries because he fears looking rigid. He tolerates behaviors he dislikes, hoping his patience will be rewarded. This communicates a lack of self-respect. The man who sets boundaries early may seem cruel, but he communicates something essential. He values himself. And whoever values himself teaches others how they should be treated.
If you want more psychological breakdowns like this, subscribe to Mental Warfare. And if you want deeper content and exclusive videos, consider becoming a channel member. Until next time, stay aware, stay disciplined, and remember, the greatest battles are rarely visible, because the real battlefield is the mind.